Imagine a league built by the people, for the people. A league dedicated to the economic development of your city. So the question becomes, how good are the 32 teams that play in the minor football league? Well, there's only one way to find out. You have to experience the MFL.
Welcome to another edition of Inside the MFL. I'm your host, Dr. Richard D. Myles Sr., founder and CEO and chairman of the Minor Football League. It can't get no colder than this. And if I just veer off the subject, I think happy days are here again. I want to welcome our audience to Inside the MFL. Also, I have our co-host here today. I see, Keith. I don't know. You got a big smile on your face. I don't know. We got the change into the guards here, and we also have another guest. But let's go with you, Keith. How you doing today?
Pretty good. Nice to talk to you as always, Myles. Thanks for the invitation to come on the show. Always a pleasure.
Absolutely. I have another guest with me. Of course, we'll be joined by Dr. Freeman, and we'll have another special guest here waiting for them to come. Let me have my guest introduce himself. Yeah. Justin, are you there? Walton.
Here.
How you doing, sir?
I am here. I'm doing good, sir. How you been doing today?
Okay, I want you to introduce yourself to the MFL Nation, and I got a guy here. I know you want to be like him because Keith, one of the big time reporters in the DMV area here in Washington. But go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, I am Justin Walters. I am the general manager of an internet radio station here in East Texas called Free 99. We are an internet radio station that appeals to kind of the target demographic of the MFL, which is people who love to stream, people who love football, and I'm happy to be here for those reasons.
Great. Well, absolutely, and the reason you're here because we got a franchise up there that you hold in East Texas.
Texas Cardinals.
Absolutely, and as we were talking before I let Keith tear you apart, no, I'm just joking. So for East Texas, they have the MFL franchise there in the Texas Cardinals.
Well, here in East Texas, I think it's a great opportunity because we are one of those places where the economy is increasing, people coming here are increasing, the culture is becoming a lot better. We here in East Texas, we're in a situation where we could definitely take advantage of some representation. And like I talked with Dr. Myles when I first talked to him, East Texas has not had a lot of professional sports representation. And now that East Texas is becoming not necessarily a hub, but a place for professional sports representation, especially with a league like this, it makes it really awesome for the community. More money for small businesses, more places for people to go. And heck, if more people come, people will decrease their prices, meaning even more people can come. And the thing is, that's kind of the effect when it comes to stuff like sports, when it comes to professional sports in Dallas. Very great tourist spot mostly because of the Dallas Cowboys. Mostly, but somewhat because of the Dallas Cowboys. It would be the same here in East Texas. And I love that.
Well, we don't like that word, Dallas Cowboys down here, Keith. But also, before I go to Keith,
I know.
Let me introduce Dr.
Just an example.
Yeah. Dr. Freeman is the owner of the Rochester Chargers. What are you doing, Doc, today?
I'm good. How's everybody doing?
Good. Thanks for asking.
We got Justin on. He's from up there in Texas. Down in Texas, where we had the Texas Cardinals that and he was talking. I was just asking him what it means to have the Cardinals there in East Texas, and he expanded on a little bit. But let me get to before Doc. He don't need no introduction. But Keith, so what do you think of that? I know you're familiar with, you probably know people out in Texas, but I told him, Doc, we don't use that word Dallas Cowboys here.
Nah.
No, I'm much more partial to El Paso and parts of East Texas than I am the metropolitan-ish areas down in Texas. But it's a big state, and true Texans will tell you they could be their own country, and they tried long, long time ago.
Yeah.
But football is king at all levels, from Pee Wee all the way up to the professional ranks. They just love it in Texas. A Friday night in a high school will put thousands in the stands. It is a phenomenal thing to see. It is truly inspiring, and it is the sport of Texas. So it's great that East Texas has something. Obviously, they have some very competitive or pretty competitive college programs in East Texas, but to have a professional franchise, and I equate that much to like San Antonio, which has an NBA franchise, but no other franchise, no NFL, no anything, of course, until Dr. Myles said, hey, let's put a franchise in San Antonio, to be commended for that. So those are those underserved communities like East Texas that deserve some credit, some credibility, and also involvement in professional sports.
Dr. Freeman.
Yeah, and especially, sorry.
Dr. Freeman.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Before we let the young man comment on that, let me let him comment on that. Then we'll get to Dr. Freeman. Dr. Freeman doing some great job up there in up in Rochester, because he get ready to face his foe there. Could Keith be there to cover it, huh, Keith? As you start to comment, young man.
Yeah, yes, sir. All I was saying was this is all because we're an increasing metropolitan area, and something like this can make it increase even more.
Wow.
Like fastest growing, that's what I was looking for. Fastest growing, one of the fastest growing metropolitan areas in the nation.
Well, I have to say, Doc, to your credit of putting a franchise there, when you introduced Justin, I thought you were going to say general manager of, but obviously he's different general manager. But all media coverage is positive coverage, and I'm impressed that he's got a network like that set up in East Texas. And I've got some friends that were stationed out there and different service members that will tell me how remote and far between places it is like out there. So kudos to Justin on that.
And Dr. Freeman been in media for 30 some years covering the NFL. And then Dr. Freeman.
Yes, sir.
What are your comments on that, sir?
You're going to have to refresh me. I had somebody started texting me on some MFL business, and I apologize. What was the question, Dr. Myles?
Well, we were talking about what it means. Justin was talking about what it means for that MFL franchise to be there in East Texas, because they're one of the largest growing areas out there. But don't forget now, gentlemen, keep in mind, we're also in Houston, Texas, too. We got the Rams there, too. Texas was so big, we had to put 3 franchises out there. So he was just commenting on the fact that it means a lot to have it there, because they've grown so big out there. But everything big in Texas.
Oh, yeah. I talk to the franchise general managers on a regular basis, and it seems that that the MFL is well received throughout the state, and that's a great thing. And we're also talking to a person about doing our streaming out of Texas. So this is a great thing for the MFL, and I'm sure it's going to be a great thing for Texas and all the MFL franchise cities.
So how's things coming along up there? I even hate to even ask you how things coming. Keith, because he just, you got to watch Doc, man. He just sit back, man, and
he is always multitasking. He said he was looking at a text. I'm not surprised.
So how's things coming there, Doc?
Things are going well. we're all set. We're ready to go. It's up to the pandemic. We're all set with the city of Rochester. I had a meeting with the mayor and a few of her commissioners, and they're looking forward to the MFL coming to, well, we're already in Rochester, but starting our season. And hopefully the pandemic cooperates, and we're looking forward to starting our season by whooping on the Washington Chiefs. And we're going to start things off the right way.
What we don't want to say. That's what we want to have.
Wow.
You know,
Hey,
go ahead, Doc. We're listening to you.
I even have multiple jerseys.
See.
And we're just getting ready.
Nice.
The gauntlet has been thrown down.
It has been thrown. And then you had the nerve to hire my frat brother as the general manager of the Chiefs. So I'm going to have to whoop on a frat brother first game. How is that?
Wow.
And he's a good guy, too. So, yeah.
He's a very, very nice
I feel very bad for him.
So,
I feel bad too, man.
from a media perspective, and you know, you two guys, y'all do media. What that say for what the MFL is putting in place? I'll go with you first, Keith.
Well, I think it's an opportunity across the board. You talk about the laboratory change and really the league of opportunity, and that's what it is at all levels, not just players, but coaches, general managers, broadcasters, media types. I mean, it's going to be whether they work for the league or cover the league. It's very vital, but there is an element that exists in our society of people looking for experience to be able to move to the next notch. And also, in Justin's case, he's got a radio network that's looking for programming. So obviously that's a nice tie-in as well. And when we talk about the professional ranks of where he is in East Texas, before the MFL came in, there isn't anything. There wasn't anything. So that's good for his programming and obviously good for the MFL because exposure and coverage is always moves the needle. It's always a positive.
Absolutely, Justin. And what are your? I know we talked before, and you had not had a real opportunity to talk to Dr. Freeman because he handled most of the media stuff for us. But what is it your station want to do with the MFL? Very briefly.
Well, what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to broadcast the Texas Cardinals games to people in East Texas. The thing is, since this is a new team, not as many people as an established team know about it. And with Free 99, with my internet radio station, what I can do is I can broadcast this to people of East Texas who don't know that there's a team out there. It'll give you guys promotion. It'll give the Texas Cardinals promotion. And it'll do all of this great stuff for both Free 99 and the MFL to where it'll make both the Texas Cardinals, well, three things, Texas Cardinals, the MFL, and Free 99 better in terms of not necessarily ratings, but people watching or listening in my case, because now they know about it and they're like, wow, this is cool. I want to listen to this again. And to the point of Mr. Jones, he was saying it's not just about the team, it's about the players and all that stuff. It's also about the community. The community is another big aspect because without the community, who are you playing for?
Keith?
Yeah, correct. I was just letting Justin have a little bit of soapbox time there because he brings up very valid points. And it is kind of a win-win. Obviously, everybody that comes into this league and is involved with this league has been heavily vetted by one Dr. Richard D. Myles Sr., founder and CEO of the MFL League. So, you just don't walk into anything. But, top quality is what this league is about and what it's looking for. And I've just been continuously amazed and really genuinely enamored with the kind of talent at every level that Myles has been able to pull into this league. And this is a league that has been established, but it's really now on the threshold of international prominence. And obviously good media partners are vital for that.
Absolutely. Doc?
Absolutely. I like any coverage is great coverage for any league, and that's just like any news is good news because it gives you publicity and attention. And I think the MFL is deserving of all of that. And I think a lot of entities are going to find out that the MFL presents a great product that can be seen not only in this country, but with the league expanding over into Africa, it becomes an international phenomenon. And that is something I look forward to. And that's a great thing. And it's a compliment to Dr. Richard D. Myles Sr. and his vision for seeing where this league could go since 1993.
Absolutely. And Doc, as you know, Doc handled most of the media stuff, and we certainly have several RFPs that he had along with this other company. I think I shared that with you, Keith. I know if you had a chance to look at it. And she has her own network. I commend her for that for 3 years. That's good. But she never did sports. So Doc handling that right now. And everybody, once they see our stuff, they get excited. I think they think we knew until they read a little more. Doc, realize we've been here a while. They start scratching their head and like, I don't know about it. I don't know why I didn't understand or know about this. But absolutely, we want media, and it's a great opportunity because this is a doorway and a great. Thank God for all, like I said about the MFL, the laboratory chain, that you can get an opportunity to do something with us. You know what I mean, Keith? We open and like-minded people like ourselves and Dr. Freeman to tell you that. We want to give people an opportunity because we want to enhance what the community is doing. We're not taking anything from them. And I've been saying for a long time, and me and you talk about this, keep off the air and stuff, that we need those interns that are interested in broadcast journalism. This is where you get on-site training. You're not doing no gopher work. You're actually doing it. And now, because of COVID, it opens a whole new genre of things that you're going to have to do differently. Now, you can sit in front of your laptop and you can send information out. You can cover a lot of things from your laptop. And and I know, gentlemen, all of us understand content. Content is so important and expensive at the same time because what people want, keep content.
Right.
How they say content. Right. Like people don't understand when they came out with a Facebook, it was Facebook, right? So everybody fill out and get all that information. And what did he do? He sold it to all the corporations. So when you get stuff come to your house and you say, what is this? I didn't send it. Yes, you did. Because you gave all your information for free. Right or wrong, gentlemen?
Right.
Something.
Right on.
So,
that's the best part about free.
I'm a pretty sharp individual. And I tell people all the time, content, what everybody wanted, and they do it in all kinds of ways. And you wonder why these people, billionaires and gazillionaires, because they told you it was free. We know nothing is really free, right?
Right.
Somebody's paying for it.
They could put it there, going out for business. But what people see is, going out of business. So they run there. The sign said going out for business. You understand how catchy that is? Yeah. So we got to understand and distinguish. We got to understand it's all in the language of everything. Most of you, all you guys are educated individuals, but sometimes we tend to rush into things. But this is a no-brainer when you look at the MFL and you look at all the things we're doing, like with Dr. Pat Freeman, first owner in the minor football league. You look at Justin, you look at young people like the MFL will give you an opportunity at a network, they ain't give you a second thought. But we believe in collaboration. Ain't that right, Doc?
Yes, sir. Believe in collaboration and definitely working with other entities like yourself to enhance not only your brand, but make sure that we enhance the MFL brand. And that's what it's about. And I look forward to working with you in Texas. That is a great thing.
Absolutely. And we also, I don't know, maybe I know it's a big house difference. We had guests from Germany. We didn't tell you about that. We didn't tell them about that, Doc. We got a call, and they want to do something with us in Germany. They couldn't believe what they saw. You know what I mean? And we gave him the time. So hopefully he'll get on before we go off air. But Keith, before we go to just this right here, I can't say enough about it. Maybe you can convey it to people, young people that you'll feel the importance of getting the opportunity. If sports is what you want to do, this is where you start. Or what the old saying is, if you want fame, they tell you that, remember the movie Fame, this is where you start. This is where you start right here. Because this will determine whether you have it or not. Some people think they want to do some certain thing, and they get there and they realize that they set in, they realize that, hey, it's a little harder than I thought. Or maybe this is not what I want, or just exactly what I want to do. You know, Keith?
Yeah, it's work. There's no question about it. And the quick risers work harder or outwork their colleagues or their opponents or what have you. And again, it doesn't matter if it's a player, a coach, a general manager, a member of the broadcast, whatever it is. There's competition. You need to do your due diligence and you need to do the work. And earlier in the show, Doc, you were talking about me kind of working just and over, and I have that ability to do it. That's not my way, but I do hold people accountable like you do. I do have expectations in product quality, and we're not as a league and as a broadcast entity, not going to just put anything on the air. So the quality is paramount, just like the play is paramount. Because yes, it's the minor football league, the 30-year overnight sensation, but it's still a professional league. Carry yourselves like professionals. You get into the realm of professionalism, then you understand what it's all about, and that's point in cases. Dr. Patrick H. Freeman up in a little place called Rochester, and it's not everybody can live in Rochester. It's RIT up there. They got some great schools, but to bring football up there when you already have an NFL franchise not that far away speaks to the quality of work that Doc Freeman has been doing, and also the understanding of getting in the community and having them understand. And there's no better community than that western area of New York, because they understand football and they understand community, and we've seen that with the NFL franchise. It didn't matter if they're 8-1 or 1-8, they still support that franchise. So Doc Freeman's in a good situation to kind of continue that. I don't want to call it a legacy, but continue that way of presenting professional football. But when I say that, he's also on the hook to keep the quality of the product to that level. And it's not easy for everybody to do that.
That's right.
And that's the great thing about having you three individuals, because you all have journalism background with you all. I'm just, I can use Doc. I can use I can go in my assistant dean mode now to listen to everybody. It's great, but the great thing that Doc got all the support up there. I mean, you can see all the people and the most powerful people up there, be it government or other bodies that give him all kinds of letters. It's just extraordinary what he had done in that short time. I know when I built the Chiefs, it took me years to get this thing where it was. It took him amount of just almost really under a year to put all this together. And what you attribute that to, Doctor, I mean, everybody knows you, what you attribute that to, sir? Is it because not because everybody know you, but it's that they are hungry for something else, and the key to it is for the entertainment, but also the bill's riding pretty high right now. We'll get to you in a second, Justin. Bill's riding pretty high now, Doc.
Oh, they are, no question, in the AFC Championship game this Sunday. But you have to follow the script that you're given. And you gave me a script day one, and I've just worked the script. You got to put the work in. You cannot think that this is going to happen overnight and it's just going to drop in your lap. You've got to put the work in. You've got to write the letters. You got to write the emails. You got to make the phone calls. You got to let them know that, hey, the minor football league is here. We're the laboratory of change, and you have a minor football league franchise. And day one, I think we've made an impact on the Western New York area. The only problem we have here is the pandemic. And I think once we come out of the pandemic, I think we're going to really do some great things.
That's real. Sounds good, but it's the work that you do, Doctor, and all the things that you have done. I don't want people to kind of not understand. It was a lot of work, and you took it with open arms. I mean, it was like you was meant for it. You know what I mean? Some people keep saying this is hard, but it was, I tell people all the time, and he exemplified that. I believe in working smart, not hard. You know what I mean? And I tell people all the time, this is definitely, a marathon. It's not a sprint. Now, getting to you, Justin, I mean, and hearing that from these guys that been in media, and this is your career coming up with, let us hear from you right now.
I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous.
These guys have been in media all the time. He get a chance to hear some more people. Go ahead, young man.
But to what you guys were saying about work ethic, you got to have that work ethic, because if you don't have it, then you could see your franchise tumble to the ground. I mean, you really got to understand. I'm going to give some historical background. There is this league called the World Football League that did one season in the 70s. They fell because of mismanagement. And if you guys, whether it's a general manager, an owner, or someone who does significant work, if they don't do their job, something's going to crumble. Something's going to fall down. And it may not be then. Like they say, I think in Casablanca, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon. And that's what you see with a lot of people who just give up. And you should never give up. And that's what I see here with the minor football league. We don't give up. When things are good, that's good. When things are bad, we work to make them better. And that's the number one thing that I love about the minor football league, is that you guys have great work ethic. And that's why you guys have been around since, you said, I think it was 92 when you guys were founded, right? I think it was 92 or 93. 90, yeah. Yeah.
Well, you've been aboard all the time, don't it, Keith? And Dr. Freeman, I like when he said we. You know what I mean? He said we.
Oh, yeah.
So, he didn't come to let you. He's going to be a part of this thing. He really want to be a part of it. And it's nice to hear a young man like that pointed in his.
I'm still a senior in high school.
Yeah, a young man. But see, we need that. These are the type of things that we need. We need young men like that see the vision and understand, Keith. As you know, you've been doing this for years, but to hear that young man talk, it's impressive to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Back to Dr. Freeman, he has a total understanding of the process and what's going on and what it takes. And it's interesting, you, Justin, we're talking about the World Football League, the American Alliance, the XFL twice. I can go on NFL Europe. I mean, none of these things. Yep. Doc was talking about Germany giving him a call. The NFL couldn't even figure out how to big teams work in Europe. So it doesn't matter how big how big the entity, you got to have a true grasp on what is going on and what it takes. Oh, you know what? Doc told me recently there are a couple of former NFL players that want to start a league. Good luck. We'll see. I'm going to add them. Hopefully I'll get one of their footballs.
Yeah.
I already did a wall of X leagues that I'm putting footballs on. It just doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't necessarily have to take 25 years to come to prominence, but it's a lot more than what you see. If you look at all the money that, I'll use the XFL, for example, the second iteration, all the backing they had, one guy running it, and it didn't work out, and they have all the quality of players and on and on and on. And again, it was one and done. And you can, from the league office, you can blame the pandemic, you can blame whatever you want, but the MFL is still going on. So, I don't. Yeah, that doesn't add up to me. That's just the way it works in professional sports, and especially in football.
And what you're saying, Mr. Jones, the thing is, the pandemic has been horrible. But there's been a lot of businesses and a lot of places, and mostly like the UIL, which is high school sports especially, that's what they're known for. They still did this. They still did football. They're still doing basketball, volleyball. They're doing all the sports, even with this pandemic going on. They're just taking precautions. And if every business would say, hey, we're still going to do operations, but we need to do precautions, the NBA wouldn't have ended their season early. The NFL wouldn't have problems. The MLB, the MLB, I think it had to end their season early. If they just managed it right, like saying, hey, you know what? We're going to test you, and if you show positive, you're gonna sit out, or your team's going to sit out for the next couple of weeks. But people, and I'm not saying this against those teams and the businesses necessarily, but people got lazy during this pandemic. The MFL did not get lazy. Their football league kept on working. And that's why MFL, the minor football league, is still here, because they worked through the pandemic. They didn't get lazy.
Right. And Dr. Freeman's prime example. He's ever reading another text again. Always.
It never stops.
The two docs I'll give credit to, because Myles is demanding and Freeman is a get it done kind of guy. So he gets the directive and he goes at it. And you know what? You may be locked in wherever you are. I'm in an undisclosed location somewhere outside of our nation's capital. But you still can be on shows like this. You still can pick up the phone. You still can email. You can text. You can do all those things that Dr. Freeman's been doing for months and months and months. And that's why he's as far along as he is. So no excuses.
In fact,
that's I can't remember who uses that extensively, but no excuses, because there's no reason for it. You can always progress and do something. It's like reps, and you're a general manager of a radio station. The more you are on the air, the better you will get. And even if you're talking in your bathroom, the more you talk about something, the better you will get. And at some point, somebody will say, this Justin guy knows what he's doing. Hey, there's a guy we'd like to hire.
And to what you were saying, Mr. Jones, the thing is, because of this pandemic, email, texting, and calling, as well as voice and video chatting, have become more popular. So I don't know why businesses would not use that stuff, because that is what's now popular. Heck, we're talking on a platform called StreamYard. And it's a lot like Zoom, a lot like Microsoft Teams. People who are having to work remote thanks to this pandemic are able to communicate with other people. And as you can see here, we're all communicating. We got a general manager of a team, we got a reporter, and we got ourselves the owner of the Minor Football League. Oh, hold on, my phone. Oh, I got to hang up. It's a 254 number. I'll call them back as long as they're not a scam call.
Right. Okay, I know you used to doing radio, but make sure you keep your face on the screen, because we're kind of doing very.
But the great thing, and Doc, we talked about this even down at the Super Bowl down in Miami. When the owner was down there doing interviews, I told Doc, I said it won't work. Doc looked at me, I said it won't work because media is it's really, you can dictate a lot of things to people because sometimes people believe what they read, and sometimes they you remember the old saying, you young yet, but you probably heard of it. You remember this, y'all? Well, it must be true because it was on TV or it was on the radio. You remember that? So it got to be true. That's not
my family says that sometimes. I actually know that.
It's a problem. It's really a problem, especially with reality television. But we're in a different kind of reality television, so
it's not reality.
But then one of the funniest
actuality.
There you go. Oh, nice. One of the funniest things I saw this week, because I tell people all the time, because they talk about the analysts that are on television, the NFL Network or whatever it is, and I say, these guys have a 50-50 chance. You have 1 out of 2 of picking the right team, and a lot of times they don't pick the right team. And I tell people, just because you're on television or radio doesn't mean you know what you're talking about. And to that point, because if those guys knew what were talking about, they would put money in Vegas on the winner and live on one of the 3 islands that they own. So that's kind of how that goes. So yeah, there's a bunch of nonsense going on in the media and such. But that's why one of the things I like about the MFL, it's not only kind of grassroots, but it's what you see is what you get, as the saying goes. And that's one of the things that I appreciate, the genuineness of the CEO all the way down to the guys in the office, like the Dr. Freeman, to the players, etc. And you just keep it moving. And if you present a genuine product, people will follow. People will notice.
And that's because some people have an identity problem. We know who we are, and we tell people all the time, they who they are, we who we are. We're not trying to be something that we're not. And that's, I think, where a lot of people make a lot of mistakes at. And like with Doc, you talk to people all the time when they do our games and stuff, and Doc tell them that we don't want to hear that. Just send us the paperwork, send us the proposal, let us look at it. And everybody can do so much, huh, Doc?
That's right. And a lot of people want to do a lot of talking. We need documentation. Documentation beats conversation, as Dr. Myles always says. And we're trying to keep things moving the right way. And, part of my work is helping all the other franchises around the country. I stay in constant contact with them to make sure that they're progressing. We put together a system for Dr. Myles to receive a monthly report from each franchise, and then he can make a league report. So we've emphasized this to all the general managers, that it's very important that you get your monthly reports in on time, because Dr. Myles then has to take all the franchises and see where the league is. So, these are things that we're doing. I'm excited. I can't wait. This pandemic has been a challenge, but it's only a challenge to do more work. And we've had to innovate ourselves over close to a year now. Dr. Myles, next week will be a year we were down in Miami on Radio Row. Nobody wearing masks, none of that. Got there, and my phone was blowing up. Did you hear that Kobe Bryant was in a fatal helicopter accident? That's almost been a year. And time just keeps moving, and the MFL has to roll with the punches. We did not play in 2020, but we got a lot of work done in 2020, and we keep getting work done, and that's very, very important. And I think if we all stick to the script, we're going to have a very, very impressive season this year. Hopefully the pandemic allows us to do that.
And absolutely, and we're going to make sure, just I'll get you with Dr. Freeman, and we'll go over the things that we both can collaborate on, especially, where you're at. And also, the great thing about it is 3 franchises there. So that'll be kind of, I know you emphasized, you heard something about they might move it and play somewhere else, and you were very adamant about, well, wait a minute, no, it got to stay. He was really standing up. And
they got to stay here, man.
We did meet with the people from the mayor's office there. Our general manager there, he's doing a great job, Thurston Hall. But, these things take time. Nothing going to just happen like that. And I tell people all the time, anything you don't understand, people have a tendency to be afraid of it. Everybody's not like you, Justin, that you're like, you bold enough. You can see sometimes, those saying, sometimes people can't see for the trees, or sometimes they don't realize things that's right in their face. But you have visionary people, like-minded people. And in the MFL, we seem to attract those type of people because, and that's a good thing. And we need that. We need people that say, hey, wait a minute, we better look at this. And I think that what happened to us over the years, people didn't really look at it, Keith. And now the COVID made them, had no choice. They scrolling through the media and all that, and they went, and then they realized, wait a minute, we should have looked at this. You know what I mean?
Right.
So these are the type of things that we tell people. We just want you to experience the MFL. We just want you to experience. Take a look. It don't cost you nothing to look at what we're doing. You're gonna gain more than you lose by being involved with the MFL. And people like Justin, I know he. Me personally, and I'm not saying it because he's here, I like the fact that he's the ground, he's a pioneer. He wanna, I can see this. I can see that. Let me show other people so they can see. And as y'all know, gentlemen in media, that's important for us to have the young people. Because see, with the old people, we, talking about myself now, y'all, don't get offended. Well, sometimes we tend to we're careful. We like to, we don't like rocking the boat unless you're me. I rock the boat, flip it and everything else. But to hear this young man talk and the things he want to do, I know you supposed to have your owner on the. He was supposed to. Is he still coming on? Just.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still here.
I know your owner. He was supposed to. Was he still coming on? Or no? Or you want to? Last time we talked about that.
Wait. Can y'all still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you good.
The franchise.
Okay. Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
First, you wanted to have the owner. I know I talked with him briefly before about things about us doing things that, with the network. So, is he still wanting to meet? Because I want to make sure that him and Dr. Freeman get an opportunity to talk maybe later. But I was just
yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right, you still bring it up. But Keith, so, I mean, think about this kind of, I know every time I bring, we got to always have Keith on because he's unbiased and he's going to look at this thing sideways, under, top, bottom. We in these areas, man, that the feasibility study, even some people thought, well, I don't think you should put stuff there. We're finding out, well, something I knew all the time, there's the perfect fit. You know what I mean, Keith?
Yeah, you did your due diligence, and I know you do all your studies and you do your homework and your paperwork and stuff, as Dr. Freeman can attest. But there are underserved communities across the U.S. and they really are looking for an entertainment value. They're looking for inclusion. They're looking for a number of things, and the MFL provides a lot of those things because it's not a large corporation going in as a Coca-Cola or something like that saying, oh, here we are. Welcome us to your community. It's about getting the community involved, giving them a great value for the product that you're putting on the field, giving a top quality product for them to come out and say, oh, I rather than them saying, oh, I've seen high school games that are better than this. They say, oh, there is a difference. There's a true professional franchise of football in our community. And as Justin can attest, East Texas is one of those underserved markets. And I mentioned San Antonio earlier as well, another underserved market. And then obviously there's a franchise also in Houston, which to me is also an underserved market because you never know what you're getting with the Houston NFL franchise. So, but again, that everybody loves the game of football in Texas. So it makes a ton of sense. But not just Texas, in New York State and other pockets around the country. And to Myles's credit, he has done the homework and put in the diligence to say, oh, here's another community that's underserved. And whether that's Philadelphia or wherever it is, that's what he's done. So that's the true essence of the MFL.
And to add to Mr. Jones's point here, when you serve these underserved communities, like East Texas, like Houston, like San Antonio, you see that more people are going to know about them, maybe because of a team, because of a team. The team becomes a symbol of that area. Like let's say, with Oakland, the Oakland Raiders. The Raiders is their symbol. It could be the same here. The Cardinal could be the symbol of East Texas. The Texas Cardinals, if when we're able to start, people are going to be coming in because they're like, wow, I love football, but it doesn't play in the summertime. What can we do? And they'll see the minor football league and they'll be like, you know what? I'm going to go to some of their games. This seems interesting. I want to see some of the upcomers of football. And then eventually, when you see the Texas Cardinals, more popular team, Cardinals going to become a symbol of the area. And that's what I hope is here in East Texas. That's what I hope happens in East Texas.
Absolutely. We're also down in Oklahoma. We have the Cowboys, so I know they love that game alone. And we definitely have the Packers down in New Orleans. But more importantly, this is a division where you will see other teams come from other areas, parts of the country, and I know that would be exciting to people. You're not just playing people in Texas. And Texas is big. I know some people in Texas never been to the other part of Texas, to the other cities, But in saying that, we're excited, and we definitely, it won't be no surprise to me, but like the MFL surprise to them, the talent will not be, because you have a lot of young men that played college ball there, and it was nothing else left for them, Keith. Dr. Freeman, it was that glass ceiling. Now, you're still home playing for a minor professional team.
Right.
What's going to be the draw? Doc?
Right. There's opportunities. The MFL offers players that could not find enough room on other professional franchises. And now you have an opportunity to go from the field to the front office too, and learn the operation of the game, because you might not make it to that next level. The MFL gives you an opportunity to sharpen your skills, maybe get seen again. But if you're not, it gives you an opportunity to learn the front office of the game. And that's a very important entity, as you saw a lot of players that are in management positions that weren't great football players. They didn't last that long, but they end up becoming either great coaches or good managers. Our manager of the year here in Buffalo, Brandon Beane, wasn't a great player, didn't do that well, but he has done well in putting together this team, which is very competitive, during a year of the pandemic. So, I'm absolutely enthused. I think once people really start seeing more and more of the MFL, they'll begin seeing the message of Dr. Richard D. Myles Sr. and his vision. And I think, great things are just going to happen. I just think we just need to keep working. And once the pandemic has allowed us to bust out, we're going to bust out like we never have before.
Yeah.
People are looking forward to it. We get calls all the time. Sometimes I wonder, Keith, and just do they understand that still COVID out there, 19 is still there. But I think that they're getting so excited about the possibilities, and sometimes that can make us forget about what's important, at the time, like making sure that we make sure it's a safe environment when they do come out there. And, Lisa doing a great job with the dance teams. And I think at the end of this month, that can be controlled a little better because it will really be in the bubble because they get a small place for the girls can come and you can check them and stuff. And we're going to do a great job with that, with the players too, when we do the combines. And it's like a dike. It got a hole in it, but now it's spreading a whole bunch of holes now. One you try to stop and another. So it's ready to go. You know what I mean? Whether you want it to be or not, it's ready to go. And we realize that, but we're still going to be cautious. We're still going to do the right thing in terms of young men and our staff and our gym and you guys. We want to make sure it's still safe. You know what I mean? A lot of people look at me funny when I say the MFL was one of the first professional leagues said we're not going to do it. And I was saying, hopefully these HBCUs and these other schools, I hope they just do the right thing. The Power 5 conference we're going to do what they want to do because they already had the contract signed and they got the deal with TV. And I know the same thing with the NFL. They was going to go regardless because they already had the money for TV. They did not need no people in the stand. But it just goes to show you, Dr. Freeman, just go to show y'all that the NFL we don't care if you come or not. We still gonna get paid. And you have people that say, we'll risk going and watch these games. Is that crazy or what, Keith?
Well, it's the power of the league. Each franchise gets $255 million apiece off the broadcasting deal. And they announced today that they're only going to allow 22,000 people in the Super Bowl. And that just shows you the power of the league's broadcasting contract. They can make money without you being there at all. But as you noticed, that minor league franchises have struggled through this pandemic that don't have the powerful TV deals. And it's going to be interesting to see how others come out of this. I know the MFL, under the leadership of Dr. Richard D. Myles Sr., has weathered this storm correctly, but others are really struggling. There's some baseball franchises out this way, double A and single A, that are folding. They will not be back. They cannot survive this pandemic. So this is going to be a true test, especially for minor league teams that don't have television contracts. But the MFL is very lucky to have Dr. Richard D. Myles Sr. We've been able to weather this storm, and I think we're going to come out very, very well.
And that says a lot, Keith. And as you know, Keith, a lot of times, these minor league systems and stuff, they are in trouble because they didn't prepare. And the greatest thing that the CFL did, they said, we're not going to go. It would bankrupt us. If we tried to go, we went this year, we will have to fold the league forever. I don't know if you read that statement and heard about that, but they were smart enough to know it would ruin them forever.
Well, you've got to protect your product, and you've also got to protect your players. And sometimes that's the product equals the players. But you really have to be conscious of the whole scope of what's going on in sports in general, not just professional level sports. Fortunately, the professional level of sports usually has the best doctors and the best access to different things to help the player get through it. But it only takes one player or two players to shut down a team, and we've seen that. As a matter of fact, the Washington football team, Washington's NFL franchise, is going through that now, through a coaches only meeting. So, and it spread very quickly. Now, obviously, they're out of the it's off season for them, but still, it happened. So it just kind of tells you where things still are as we get through and have gotten into 2021. But it's still the great unknown. So I commend the Canadian Football League for doing that. But you've also got to think business wise, you can still keep going. But if you start putting out money, and this is what happened with the XFL, then that's part of why they are gone and they got put up for auction. Is they had too much overhead and they got top heavy. And then when the pandemic hit, they couldn't get anybody into the stands, and they pulled the plug on the league, for better or worse. I thought it was a horrible business decision. I thought it was a horrible business move. It really showed the farce that league ended up being. But at the same token, they weren't protecting the product at the time when they should have been. They tried to stretch it out as long as they could. So the realization is, even though they had a large broadcast partner to do it, if you can't put stands full of people into the broadcast and it looks like you're playing to an empty stadium, that's not a good visual either. So again, kudos to the CFL for doing what they have to do, and also to the MFL for doing what it has to do, because as Dr. Freeman will attest, and he has numerous times, both on this show and elsewhere, he does stuff every day. He gets business done every day. He's not the only one. It's great because he's part of the leadership board, and he obviously helps the other general managers and the other teams do what they need to do to be successful. So when the other shoe drops and the season gets started, everybody is more than ready to go.
Absolutely, and it's a shame that I know I got the article and I sent it to you. People want to start these leagues, and Marshawn, bless his soul. It's a shame. Then you rock. Stick with what you do. You know what I mean? Because he don't understand. It's not as easy as you think. You got it now. What you gonna do with it? He's smart enough to say, "Well, give it 22." But believe me, it won't even go then. I gave you that prediction because I don't think people sometimes tend to venture out into things that they have no clue about. And I'll let you come in, young man. I know you have a few words you want to say on that before we go.
Well, I'm going to say this right now to sum up. We're appealing to an audience of 18 to 49-year-olds and hopefully older and younger. But the thing is, most of us are like, why can't we start watching football? With this. Now we're able to start going back to at least somewhat of a normal. And it's just like my target audience with Free 99. In fact, I'm just going to say this. I'm going to joke around here for a sec. They say I appeal a 25 to 54 playlist to an 18 to 35 audience. But back to what I was saying, when this pandemic came on, people were bummed out because they weren't able to do the things that they're used to doing. And now, since we're starting to get lower numbers, since we got the vaccine, things are starting to come back to normal. And we're seeing that there's a lot of things that we take for granted, but we need to value it. And football is one of those things. The Minor Football League understands that. And I'm happy to be working with people like Dr. Myles, Dr. Freeman, as well as Mr. Thurston Hall, because they understand this. They understand how this pandemic has gone. They know what happens, or they knew what happened. They know what's happening, and they adapt to it. And that's why the MFL, the Minor Football League, is still a thing. Because you guys managed it very well.
Well, thank you so much. Also, I want to thank my guest, Keith Jones. Keith, I mean, it's great to have you on, Dr. Freeman. Justin, I want to thank y'all for coming on. And you have been watching another edition of Inside the MFL. I'm your host, Dr. Richard D. Myles. We'll see you next week. Thank you.